Hi folks, this is a little bit of an update on the chassis for the 3-tube amp. I haven't worked on, I haven't had a lot of time to do reports on it, but I've been working on it. So there's been some re-engineering, which I'll discuss a little bit in this video. I kind of ran into problems up here with wiring issues, just got a little too dense, and I'm figuring a lot of this out as I go, so I kind of need something a little more sturdy, a little easier to change. Plus, I was working on a friend's amplifier with a very similar, a pair of tetrodes and a very similar front end PA compartment, sorry, grid compartment. And I learned something that made me decide to change mine. So I had this out. I'll show pictures of this, but I had the grid compartment out and made a few changes. So that's done now, fixed. Plus I put the high voltage power supply all back together. And the tank is done. I just need to work on software now. So I've adopted these nice little Wago lever connectors to use for interface wiring. It's easy to take things apart. They're very secure. They take up a little more space, but I think it's a better solution. Excuse me. So I'm going to stay with those. And if I turn this around a little bit this way, so you can see down the front here, there's another little back to this assembly here. There's the little power supplies, the chassis power supply for controls. There's little voltage regulators for a couple of different sources. Some more wiring here. These are the stepper motor drivers. There's 3 of them. There's 2 here and 1 on the back behind this wiring panel. But I can get at all the connections here very easily. I've also started bringing this is the Arduino I'm probably going to use. This is a Mega. So I've got a development experimenter's plug board on it here, so it's easy to make connections to it. So I'm getting that set up, wiring will interface with these guys here, so that I can get at that. All this other wiring is involved with transformer supplies and, you know, more grid stuff, sorry, PA related stuff. And there's a control panel up here with a power switch and indicators and a connector that goes to the remote. And that's pretty well the whole thing. The box on top is not part of the amplifier. It's just a temporary power supply I use for testing. Doesn't belong there, obviously. And I will separately show you pictures of the inside. So there. This is the new schematic for the grid drive. I've added a small step-up transformer because with Tetrode grid drive you don't really need any current. Voltage is good. So to cut down the exciter requirements here, I've added a 1-to-4 balun or step-up transformer. And it has some frequency limitations. It works okay up to 20 meters. So I've got a relay to switch it in and out. There's also a built-in, you can see there's a built-in 100-watt 50-ohm load. So the exciter has a nice load. And like I say, the relay replaces a switch I had before. So I will have a relay option to switch that balun in and out. This has all been tested on a 2-drive system I did for my friend there, Roger, VA1RST. Works really well. So I have basically the same thing, but 3 tubes. And not shown here, but I have a balancing system to balance the tubes so that they all look exactly the same. Here is a little look inside the grid compartment. You can see the little added relay board now. It's upside down. There's a little Form C relay on the back of it, and it's mounted just on top of a small balun. The heatsink with the dummy load is on top there, and you can see the wiring around the grids, around the sockets, and everything else there on the left. It's all, not cramped. It all works well. It's all covered on the schematic. I just realized the previous picture was upside down, so I'll have to reverse my right and left. Anyways, this is a little bit of a zoom in on the grid compartment. Nothing to add from the previous clip. This is a little picture of the outside of the grid compartment just before it goes back in the chassis. You can see the tube sockets and the the plate choke and the safety resistor, and that just sort of mounts to the back wall in the tank compartment. These are a series of pictures of the little wiring module that I made to clean up the mess on the right side of the chassis with the little Wago connectors. These are Chinese-made ones, but they seem pretty good. And say there's a lever on either side for terminals, and there's a little hole in the center you can stick a probe in to see what's going on with a multimeter. Very handy. Anyways, I'm quite happy with these, the way they're working out. And that little module contains all the stuff I explained in the video at the beginning. This is some chassis views. I've flipped down the cover on the power supply, the high voltage power supply, so you can see inside there. And that all folds up neatly, and there's a Teflon barrier to keep any potential shorts from being a problem. And there's a schematic for that, which I'll insert here at the end. And the picture further along, the last picture, is the chassis with the tank cover in place with the other modules, the tetrode boards and the extra relay boards that are used to do some of the interfacing. So that's what it looks like. It's temporarily placed right now, but that's what it looks like when it's all assembled. And you take the cover outside of the amp. So there you go. That's carry on. We'll carry on till the next report.